If you're a gun owner in America, the ground just shifted beneath your feet, and most people have no idea it happened. A December court ruling came down that's so massive, it's tearing apart restrictions that have been in place for decades. We're not talking about small tweaks to existing laws. We're talking about 10 fundamental changes that redefine what you can and cannot do with your firearms. Law number 10 is absolutely insane. What's now perfectly legal will leave you speechless. Subscribe right now, because knowing these changes isn't optional anymore. It's the difference between exercising your rights safely and facing criminal charges you never saw coming. Law 1. The strict scrutiny standard. Law number 1 is the foundation that makes everything else possible, and it completely changes how courts look at gun laws from this point forward. The Supreme Court just placed your Second Amendment rights at the very top level of constitutional protection, which means any law that tries to limit your right to own or carry a gun now has to pass the hardest legal test that exists in American law. This test is called strict scrutiny. And here's what it means in simple terms. Before this ruling, if the government wanted to restrict your gun rights, you had to prove why their law was wrong. Now, it's the complete opposite. The government has to prove to the court that they have an extremely important reason for limiting your rights. And they also have to prove they're doing it in the smallest way possible without taking away more freedom than necessary. Law 2. Police lose immunity protection. Law number 2 changes everything about how police officers treat gun owners, and it puts real consequences in place when they violate your rights. For years, police could take your gun, arrest you for legally carrying, or treat you like a criminal just for exercising your Second Amendment rights, and then hide behind something called qualified immunity when you tried to hold them accountable. That protection is completely gone now. If a police officer violates your gun rights, they can be held personally responsible, which means they can lose their own money, face federal charges, and even lose their job forever. The court made it really clear with this ruling. If any normal person would understand that taking someone's legal gun or arresting someone who's carrying lawfully is wrong and unconstitutional, then police officers are expected to know it too. Law 3. No more gun confiscation without criminal charges. Law number 3 puts a complete stop to the government taking your guns without going through proper criminal procedures first. The court ruled that red flag laws, which let the government seize your firearms without charging you with any crime, are unconstitutional. Civil asset forfeiture for guns is also finished. Law enforcement cannot take your guns during an investigation anymore, unless you've been formally arrested and charged with an actual crime. The Supreme Court's position couldn't be more clear on this. No seizure without an arrest. No seizure without charges. No seizure without due process. That means all those situations where police would say things like, "We're holding onto your guns while we look into this," or "Someone reported that you might be dangerous, so we're taking them for now," those days are over. Law 4. Government must destroy all gun owner databases. Law number 4 is one of the biggest privacy victories gun owners have ever seen, and it forces the federal government to destroy records they've been keeping on you. The court has officially ordered that every digitized gun owner record the federal government has been storing must be completely wiped out, and they only have 90 days to do it. The ruling made it crystal clear that keeping searchable databases of gun owners is a direct violation of federal law, and there's no way around it. Even more than that, states that have been sharing gun owner information with federal agencies have been ordered to stop doing it immediately. That kind of data sharing is now considered participation in an illegal gun registry, and it's not allowed anymore. The ATF has exactly 90 days to show proof that all those records have been destroyed. Law 5. Carry permits must be issued in 30 days. Law number 5 makes getting a carry permit much faster and much simpler by removing all the roadblocks that certain states have been using for years to slow things down. The court has set 3 clear rules that every single state in the country must follow starting now. First, carry permits must be fully processed and issued within 30 days. No exceptions. No more endless waiting periods that stretch on for months or even years. Second, states cannot demand that you provide a so-called good cause or special reason to justify why you want to carry a gun. Your constitutional right is reason enough. And third, the fees for a carry permit are now capped at $50. So states can't use expensive costs to price regular people out of applying. If you've had an application sitting in the system for months with no answer, this ruling changes everything for you. Law 6. Digital surveillance of gun owners is banned. Law number 6 protects your privacy in the digital world and stops some very troubling practices that have been happening behind the scenes for years. Government agencies were quietly tracking people simply because they owned guns. They were watching when you visited gun stores. They were logging your online ammunition purchases. They were keeping records of your firearm-related internet searches. They were even building profiles based on your social media activity if you posted anything about guns. All of that ends right now with this ruling. The court made it clear that owning guns is a constitutional right. And exercising that right cannot be used as justification for constant government surveillance. Your phone's location data, your credit card transaction history, and your online activity that's connected to lawful gun ownership are now protected from warrantless searches. The correct response, if this happens, is simple and direct. Digital surveillance of lawful gun owners is prohibited under this ruling, and I do not consent to any searches of my devices or my records. Law 7. Gun businesses get full legal protection. Law number 7 is a major victory for anyone who runs a gun-related business, or anyone planning to apply for a federal firearms license. For years, the ATF has been accused of using unclear rules and picky inspections to make life extremely difficult for gun dealers. And this ruling brings that era to an end. Under this new court decision, gun businesses are now recognized with the same legal protections as any other legitimate industry in America. What does that actually mean for people running these businesses? It means those surprise inspections where ATF agents would search for tiny, harmless paperwork mistakes are no longer grounds for shutting a business down. The ATF cannot revoke your license unless there's an actual criminal violation, not just a paperwork error. If you're applying for a federal firearms license, the government must process your application within 60 days instead of dragging their feet for half a year or longer like they've been doing. The main point here is simple. If you're running a legitimate gun business and following the law, you can finally operate without living under the constant threat of arbitrary government shutdowns or harassment. Law 8. Buying ammunition returns to normal. Law number 8 fixes something that every single gun owner has dealt with, and that's the process of buying ammunition. For years, certain states piled on extra rules and requirements that turned a simple purchase into a complicated and frustrating process. This December court ruling finally clears all of that up. The judges recognized something that should have been obvious from the start. A firearm without ammunition is completely useless, and treating bullets like they're some kind of dangerous forbidden item never made any sense. Here's exactly what changes under this new law. States like California can no longer force you to go through a background check every single time you want to buy a box of ammunition. New York cannot block online ammunition sales anymore. Connecticut cannot put a cap on how much ammunition you're allowed to purchase at one time. And Illinois cannot require ammunition to be serialized with tracking numbers. Starting now, buying ammunition is treated just like purchasing any other legal product. Law 9. Your home and property are fully protected. Law number 9 strengthens your rights at home and on your own property more than ever before, and it puts a stop to warrantless visits from federal agents. Think of it this way, your home truly is your castle under this new ruling. Federal agents cannot just show up at your door anymore simply because you own firearms. Those surprise compliance checks that gun shop owners, collectors, and even regular gun owners have been forced to deal with are completely gone unless agents have a valid warrant. And it can't be just any warrant either. The government now has to present actual evidence of criminal activity before they can step foot on your property to inspect anything related to your guns. Whether you're someone who collects firearms at home, whether you run a shooting range, or whether you operate any kind of firearms-related business, Your property must be respected the same way as any other constitutional right. If federal agents do show up at your door, the proper response is clear and firm. Show me a warrant that lists specific criminal allegations, or you cannot search my property. Law 10. Interstate travel protection is now guaranteed. Law number 10 is the one that's going to shock you, and it's all about traveling across state lines with your firearm. For years, gun owners have been terrified of driving through certain states with a legally owned weapon, even when they weren't doing anything wrong at all. That fear is completely gone now. Thanks to this December federal court decision, there's what you could call a safe passage guarantee for responsible gun owners who are traveling from one state to another. Here's how it works in the simplest terms possible. If your firearm is legal in the state where your trip starts, and it's also legal in the state where your trip ends, then you're protected under federal law for the entire journey in between. That means you don't have to panic anymore about getting pulled over and arrested in a strict state like New Jersey, New York, or Maryland, while you're just passing through on your way from Pennsylvania to Vermont or from Virginia to Maine. You're also protected during normal travel stops like grabbing food at a restaurant, filling up your tank at a gas station, or even staying overnight at a hotel. And here's the part that's truly shocking. If you hold a valid concealed carry permit from any state, you're now allowed to carry your firearm on your person during your entire trip, no matter what the local laws say in the states you're driving through. If this video just opened your eyes to rights you didn't know you had, smash that subscribe button right now, because more major changes are coming, and you need to stay ahead of them. Drop a comment below and tell me which law shocked you the most. I guarantee most of you will say law number 10. Hit the like button so this information reaches every gun owner who needs to see it before they accidentally break a law or miss out on freedoms they've earned. Stay safe.